Well, guys, I am a dummy. I don't know what happened, but between me building the first cylinder head and me putting together the second one, I somehow took off the gaskets that were on there. Hey guys, what's up? So we're back out here at Sims Compound again. This video is going to be just a little bit of pulling the engine out of the Talon, and so we're going to pull the whole assembly back out. Right, let me show you guys. So we're going to pull the whole assembly back out. It's only like, I've only got it in by like 4 bolts, you know, just the engine mount through bolts, that's it. Of course, take the fuel line off and the harness real quick, which is quick and easy. And then pull it out, because today, you know, I don't know if you've seen already, we'll roll the video right now.
Yes, sir.
No way.
Yes, sir.
No way. Man. Anyway, we're going to roll that video right now of us starting it for the first time. And when we did, we found a couple of things that you're going to expect. That's why I wanted to show that video. That's why I wanted to show everything. I'm not hiding anything. So that was a legit first start. And we had some problems, but nothing crazy. Like, the engine runs great, but we had just 3 oil leaks. That's it. Just 3 little oil leaks. And you might say, that's a big deal. Nah, it's not really a big deal because I know what's going on. So first things, I'm a dummy, okay? I'm a big dummy. So you see this bolt that's in here? It's because there's supposed to be a oil pressure sender unit right here. And me being a novice, I'm just kidding, not a novice like mechanic, but just new to this platform, right? Wasn't paying attention and saw that was missing, right? So got to get one of those. I'm just going to wait, and when I get my, I'm going to go ahead and get my oil pressure gauge. Like, this is a good sign because with the oil pressure gauge, you typically get a sender. So, you know, 2 birds, 1 stone there. Not going to just buy one and then go get a gauge. So that's a good deal. That was a major oil leak, and that's why all that oil drive was there. It shot all the way out. Like I said, if you see the video, you'll see it shot all the way out. The other oil leak, which is really minor, you can see it's dripping right there. It's very minor. I mean, it drips 1 drop every, like, it's a long time. So I'm not sure if that's a gasket issue or if that's maybe deformation of the pan, because it looks like the pan might be a little bent here. So it could be that the flange to the pan contact may not be even all the way across. It's good and tight on both the AN fitting and the bolts to it, so we just got to see what's up there. Obviously, I'll have to drain some of the oil out to do so. But I think what I'm going to do, some guys frown upon this, but it is what it is. I did it with the pan. You know, the pan comes with a gasket too. But I RTV'd the pan. I put RTV silicone on the pan, and I think I'm going to do the same for that flange. But first, we're going to make sure it's straight and true. I don't know why I would have put that on with the pan dented, so we've got to figure out what's going on. Something's going on there, but we got a small leak nonetheless. I don't know if you can see, but right there, there's oil running down. Only when it's running, of course, but you can tell it's quite wet there. I'm going to give you guys a better view real quick. But when there's oil running down, it's coming out of that cam seal. That was when it was running, and that's probably our worst leak, considering the other one is because there's a missing component, right? So let me show you guys what's going on. So yeah, so we've got an oil leak here. I don't know if you can see the moisture there coming up off of the head there. Even if you look in here, let's see, you can see it. You see the moisture right there. It's coming from this oil seal. It's coming out pretty straight. So my best guess is that it didn't get in there correctly. May have been a little mishap on my part installing it. So I'm thinking that it didn't get in there correctly and it's kind of sideways. Either way, if it is crooked or sideways, I ran the engine already, and so chances are it damaged that seal on the inner side. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace that seal today. We're going to pull the engine, we're going to fix the oil leaks, and then I'm going to leave the engine and trans out so that it'll be easier for me to finish up my harness and stuff. But then it's going right back in, obviously. So you'll get to see that this whole time. I'm going to try. It's not because I need time or anything like that, but I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try to sneak it out. There's a lot of videos on it, and there's also a lot of stuff in the talks on the forums about it. And they are afraid to do it without pulling the valve cover. Okay, and they're afraid to do it without pulling that cam cap off. I want to see if I can manage to do it. The seal's already damaged, so I just want to see if I can do it. If I can't, that's fine. I'll go ahead and pull the valve cover and all that stuff, but it'll save me a lot of time, and it may save you guys a lot of time if I can find a way to figure that out. So, anyway, stay tuned. We're fixing to get this started. Well, as I started to go and take the engine out, I got everything loose. I started labeling the wires and stuff like that so that I remember where they were, because it took a little bit. On these Mitsubishis, it's a little bit different than a lot of the newer cars that I'm used to, because there's a lot of connectors that will connect to each other. Like, they're not single connectors that won't fit on anything else. They can actually connect to each other. So, connector location was important, and there was a few that I had to mix and match around. Luckily I had a wiring diagram that I had printed out already for it. I don't have it on me right now, but anyway, so having that wiring diagram changed the game for me. But anyway, I was looking at how I got the engine in and everything like that, and what I had found was I forgot that I had to put this in afterwards, right? I think a lot of people probably dropped this engine and trans combo out the bottom, and they probably dropped that subframe too. But I started looking at it, and I was like, man, I really need two people so that we don't scratch this engine bay up, because that's the most important thing in my opinion, because we already got it painted, and it would just be a travesty if we had to scratch this thing up. So what I decided to do, I'm going to try to give it a shot. I think people have done it. I don't think it's an issue, but I wanted to get the engine out anyway because it would free up room for me to do other stuff in the engine bay, but I don't have to do that. I think this is going to be much easier and simpler. I don't mind having to get my hand in tight places that I wouldn't have to worry about if I had the engine out. So what I decided to do was jack up this side of the engine like I do on a lot of other jobs when I'm working on the front end of engines, and work on it this way. So we're going to see how it goes. Follow us along here as we get this thing going. Alright, so doing this, something I remember doing back in the day with T-belts, when you do like head jobs and stuff like that, not actually doing a T-belt job, but when you do like head gaskets and stuff like that where you got to take the cam gears off or anything like that. One little trick you can do, this isn't anything new, by the way. Anytime I ever give out a trick, someone's like, oh wow, you think you reinvented the wheel. That's not what I'm saying. It's just, if you haven't seen this before, do it, try it out, you know what I mean? If you have, cool. Not trying to reinvent the wheel. Did not come up with this. Not claiming this style. Okay, guys? Sorry I have to give you that disclaimer, but I got people out here hitting me up trying to say, man, what do you think you're doing? Reinventing the wheel? Like, everybody knows about that. No, I'm just spreading the knowledge, man. I'm just sharing what I know and what I've learned. So, anyway, you're going to take... Let's see if I can show you. Again, I'm just documenting the process, but this is a cool little tip if you've never seen it before. Do you see where... Let's zoom in. You see right here, the lighting is not the greatest. See if I can get some light on the subject there. So right here where it bends in, and right here. If I take a zip tie and wrap around it like this, I'm going to show you an after here in just a minute, but wrap around it like that and keep it tight, it won't come off of my oil pump or off of my crankshaft, which will be great because then everything will stay in time. And that's the key here. That's the key, is to keep everything in time. That way I ain't got to reset stuff. You know what I mean? It's no problem, but it just saves time. You know what I mean? Especially if you're doing this to make money. Like, this isn't a job I'm doing. I'm not getting paid to do this. This is my car. But just a little tip there. It just makes everything faster. That's the key in automotive, man. If you're a mechanic, you know, you probably already know this, but if not, that's the key in this kind of stuff, is finding the little tricks and shortcuts, and not, you know, shortcuts. And what I mean by that is, like, not like cutting corners, doing stuff like that, but I'm just saying shortcuts as in, like, faster ways to do things than the service manual says, or a quicker way to hold things. You know what I mean? Just things like that. You know, things that will make you faster at it and make the job faster. So those type of things are the key to this field if you're a mechanic. So anyway, let's get to it and let's get this done. Alright, so I've got it set up just a little bit further more. We're just going to do this step by step, you know what I mean? I'm just kind of showing y'all what I'm doing. Again, not a how-to, just kind of showing you what I'm doing. So down here, I've got that tie strap, as you can see, or zip tie, whatever you want to call it, cinched up right there. The key is, though, that belt has to stay on this side of that pulley, and then same thing over there. They have to stay on the pulleys. If they don't, then you lose all tension anyway, and then there's really no point. Okay, so we just have to make sure that stays there. Another thing I did, again, you don't have to do this. If you pay attention to your timing, you're good. It's just always something I do, man. It's just part of my process. It makes me feel better. Okay, it eases my mind a little bit. Is I mark here and I mark a line across so that I know where it goes. This is just if you're trying to do something real quick, you know what I mean? You should always reset the timing. You should always reset the timing and do it by the book and do it right whenever you take the belt off, okay? But once you've been in the field as long as I have, once you've, you know, been in the field a little bit and felt it out and you get confident, you can do things like this and it'll speed the process up for you. Well, guys, I am a dummy. Now, I don't know what happened. I went back. I stopped when I pulled this apart, and I went back and I looked at some of the old videos, the valve cover video. I looked at the cylinder head problem video with the first cylinder head. So I went back and looked at some of the videos. I don't know what happened, but between me building the first cylinder head and me putting together the second one, I somehow took off the gaskets that were on there. Now, the thing is, the reason why it's kind of weird to me is because, like I said in the first video, I left the gaskets on there because they were already on there, and I couldn't, for some reason, I couldn't get the bolt loose for the cam. Like, I couldn't get this bolt loose here. So I left the gaskets on when I built the first head, and I just put them in their right place, and I made sure they were lined up once I was done. And that's what I thought I did with this head too, but for some reason, guys, they are not there. They are not where they need to be. know if you can tell. There's nothing there in either one of them. There's nothing there. So, whoops, right? Whoops. Well, I had to go back and watch those videos though, because I was like, did I install the gasket wrong? Which I know I wouldn't have, but when you get to this point, you're kind of like dumbfounded, like, whoa, what happened? Excuse the rain, it's raining really hard. So, I'm going to throw the gaskets on there, and we're going to run it. But real quick, you see how I did the zip ties to hold the belt on to the cam gear itself. I didn't want it to go anywhere. I didn't want it to lose time. Again, this is just a fast way to get it done as long as you know what you're doing. You can only do tricks like this and little things like this when you know what you're doing, like when you've been doing it a while. If you try to do this when you're a beginner or when you're first starting out, you're going to mess something up, I'm telling you. So make sure you know what you're doing when you start doing that, okay? Anyway, we're going to hammer these seals in and we're going to call it good and put it back together. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, I don't know if you can tell, there's a little bit of rust on the surface, obviously, because there hasn't been anything right in there. So I'm going to clean that up so that our new seals have a smooth surface to ride on. So I'm going to put those on. You want to do that anytime you're putting new seals on. You want to clean the contact area and lube it. So that's what we do. A lot of your gaskets will come, with grease on the inside lip already, but we're going to grease it up. We're going to smash those on, hammer them on, and put this thing back together so we can call it a day on that. No more leaks, you know what I'm saying? Alright, so like I said, still new to this platform, but I am mechanically inclined, so it is what it is. You always got to give it a shot, and this is a learning lesson as well. That's why I wanted to show you guys. You always want to give things a shot and try to apply things that you'll learn from other experiences too. So I did attempt, you know, with the zip ties, everything, I did attempt to keep everything in time to slap it back on. But apparently with the timing set on these, the belt is so tight that it does stretch it some when it's in time, and I'm not able to get this back where it needs to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the zip ties off, and we're going to start from scratch, and we're just going to set the timing and call it good, which is the way you should do it anyway. But like I said, I like to try things. I like to see what I can get away with. It's just kind of the mechanic mindset in me, and really just a flag rate mechanic mindset in me. That's kind of how we do it. So anyway, it was worth a shot. It is what it is, though. I wanted to come clean and let you guys know it did not work out. But we did get the seals on, so that's a nice thing there. Like, you know, obviously those should have been on from the get-go, but they weren't. So that was a little mishap. It's what happens when you build an engine and you build in the process and you take too long in the process. That's what happened with me. You know what I mean? It took me too long in the process, and I forgot some of the things that I had done or not done. And here we are. Not a whole lot of things, but that is, you know, something that slowed me down. So it is what it is. You know, we've been working on this car for over 2 years now. So just glad to get it back together. So anyway, we're fixing to put this back together, set the timing on it, call it good for the night, and I hope hope y'all enjoy the rest of this video. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for that video. I mean, I didn't do a whole lot of in-depth on how to do the timing belt and stuff like that. I wish I would have. I wish I would have got some footage of that. But I didn't. So comment below if you guys want to see footage of me doing a timing belt on the 4G63, if you want to know how to do that and kind of the ins and outs of it. I'm sure there are. Actually, there's several videos on YouTube already about how to do it, but if you want me to do one, I'll do it. There's a little kit that I got from Extreme PSI that's got like a little adjusting bolt or rod, and a little it looks like it's 3D printed, a little plastic piece that will keep your cam gears aligned. And then, as you can see, I use some zip ties to keep that belt on the gears once I get it on there, because it's a real tight fit. And that's obviously the problem with what I was trying to do with the zip ties and the cam gears. I've done that before, guys. I've done it on some other cars. It just didn't work on this one. But I wanted to show you the whole process. I could have deleted that and just not shown that I attempted that at all. But the whole point of me showing you that is for you mechanics and technicians out there that I want y'all to see that the process when you're dealing with a new platform. Like, the process is, give it a shot. If it's something you've used on another platform before, do it. Like, give it a shot. If it doesn't work out, that's fine. Like, lesson learned. Hey, just remember, don't do it next time. Like, I'll never do that again on these 4G63s. It doesn't work on them. I don't know that I'll ever run into this scenario again. As you guys can see, it was kind of weird, right? Like, there was no seals whatsoever. So what I'm thinking I did was I cut the seals off whenever I was trying to figure out, go out and check that video, go back and check it, when I was trying to figure out why the cams would not turn on the other head that was warped. Okay, it ended up being a warped head, but I was trying to eliminate everything that could be a problem. So I'm pretty sure that I cut those cam seals off to make sure that it wasn't that was getting caught up, which I think we knew better, right? Anyway, I did that, and I think that's why I was so like, what? Like, why are there no seals here? Because I had totally forgot that I had cut those off. So anyway, with that being said, hopefully you got some decent value out of this. If you want more in depth on it, like I said, leave a comment below and I'll go into it. All I did was I found the right size socket to hammer in those cam seals. So that's all that was. I made sure I used blue Loctite on all my bolts going into the front of the engine and going into the cam and all that. Because of a couple of things. For one, 4 cylinders have a very lot of vibration anyway. Can't speak right today. They have a high vibration anyway, 4 cylinders do, okay? Not to mention this particular engine is very high vibration as well. The 4G63 itself is. But I deleted the balance shaft, so that makes it even worse. So I just want to make sure every nut and bolt that's on the engine is secured. Because I don't, especially when it comes to timing components, I don't want them coming off on me going down the road. It's an interference engine. We're going to bend some valves. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, I just wanted to document the process on this. This wasn't a how-to. This wasn't wasn't here, look at what I've done type of deal, or like I said, I wasn't trying to reinvent the wheel, but I did want to document the process on the build and what we ran into when I found the cam seals missing. And that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you want to see from here on out. We're going back together with the car right now. I'm so excited. I'm going to be documenting all of that. I've got a ton of parts coming in. We're shooting for another event that we want to be ready by. It's going to be cutting it close, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But with that being said, make sure you click that like button. Make sure you subscribe. If this is your first time checking out the channel. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. I'm out.